What's up, everybody? This your boy JT, your CBD entrepreneur and test marketing expert. Look here, we got someone that's a king of networking. Matter of fact, he just got done doing a networking event on Wednesday called Atlanta. Look, if you don't know this guy, where have you been at? This guy, his name is Corey, networking more. He today going to teach you how to network effectively, not just networking, but also make money while you networking. He always believed collaboration, even collaboration with your own competitor. You're in good hands when you're talking about networking. Here's my boy, once again, Corey, networking more.
Wonderful, JT. So glad to be here. You and I've been networking with each other for several years now,
Yeah,
and that's really the power of networking is being able to connect with somebody and see how they're going to actually affect your business. And you and I are a perfect example with each other to where, I'm not a client of yours and you're not a client of mine, but we've been doing business with each other and helping each other's business and stuff like that. So I truly, truly think that that is important for people to know. So truly appreciate you having me on, being here. I want to say hello to everyone who is either going to be or watching this now or going to be watching this in the future. We are going to be talking about actually, I'm going to start my time here just to make sure that, because you know me, JT, I'll go long. I will go long if you let me. So I'm going to go ahead and put my clock on here so we can make sure that we stay on time and everything. So with that, the power of networking, we talk about how to actually network and to make sure that that you're being effective with your network. And most times people think that networking is all about because I have a business, because I have a card, I now know how to network. Because I can speak, I know how to network, but that is not the case. You need to make sure that you know that network is not just about talking. Networking is not just about putting your card in front of somebody's face. Networking isn't about just letting somebody know what it is that you do and all of that. Like there's so much more to networking. There's actually a process to networking. A lot of people don't know that there's an actual process to networking. There's a process to networking. And the realities are, if you're not familiar with what these processes are, then 9 times out of 10, you are not going to have a successful process or a successful experience networking. So my goal is to pretty much just kind of help people with that experience. Make sure that that person is having a positive experience when it actually comes into networking. So with that, one of the things that I typically like to ask to people is, do you like networking? That's the first thing that you need to ask yourself. Do you like networking? Do you like actually getting out here to networking events and things of that nature? If that answer is yes, then, you are ahead of the game, honestly. But if that answer is no, then you may have to put in a little bit more work. Okay, you may have to put in a little bit more work. Well, some of that work is, me being a networking advocate, been doing this for so long, I have started to learn more about not just my experience in networking, but other people's experience. So I ran across this. This figure that said up to 87% of people who network do not make money from their networking efforts. Up to 87% of people who network do not make money from their networking efforts. Now, when I first heard that, I thought that was crazy. Like, what, 87%? That's a lot. That's a high percentage. I then took an actual test myself. I actually literally had an event where I asked the question to people, hey, for you guys, how many of you guys are making money from your networking efforts? And I found out that 84% of the people who I had surveyed said that they weren't making money from their networking efforts. So I was like, wow, like that's it. Okay, so if there's such a high percentage of people that are not making money from this, why is this the situation? And then I started to understand that, again, networking is not just about I have my business. I have my business card. Okay, here you go. I must be networking. No, like there's an actual formula to this. So with that, we're going to talk about that formula today, not how just to network. That's easy. Networking is easy. Making money from networking, that's the harder part. So I'm going to make sure that you guys have that information. So first, I typically like to start off by saying, in today's age, you have two choices. I like to break things down to its simplistics, okay? If you are in business for yourself, then that means that you have to let other people know what you do. To the very simple, let other people know what it is that you do. So with that, as you're letting other people know what it is that you do, you have a choice. You can either let them know one by one, or you can let them know in a group. In the chat, what's more efficient? Is more efficient letting them know one by one or in a group? Okay. Group. Yes. There's only 24 hours in a day. So if you're going through one by one, it's going to be harder to meet these people. But if you do it in a group, it's easier. Okay. So when you do it in a group, that's typically going to be a networking event. That's where the only place that exists on earth where there's a group of people who actually care about what it is you do is a networking or business event. The only place that exists on earth. Okay. There's groups of people everywhere. There's groups of people at a baseball game. They don't care what you do. There's groups of people at the mall. They don't care what you do. But there's only one place where people care, and that's at a business or networking event. The other thing is, would most of you guys agree that 90% of your future clients are going to come from people who you don't know, right? So with that, that means that you really need to get out there to these groups to meet those people, because again, that's where most of your client base is pretty much going to come from, all right? Most times when I ask people, yo, what's keeping you from networking? They give me kind of the same thing. Some people don't like networking. Is there anybody here? I'm going to ask Sandy, do you like networking? I'm going to ask Tanya, do you like networking? Jonathan, I already know. I know Jonathan likes networking. So, I don't even have to ask him. Sandy says, yes, she likes networking. Wonderful. With that, some people don't like networking, which I'm just like, I don't get those people. Cheryl, wonderful. If you're on here, I want to hear, do you like networking? Thank you. But there's some people who don't like networking, which, again, that's beyond me, but I love networking. Some people say that, they don't have no time to network. Okay. Never find the right people. Does anybody ever feel that? They don't. Sandy said, I didn't like it when I started. And that might have been some of these reasons. They never found the right people while they're networking. Does anybody feel like that? Is anybody here on the line an introvert and they're shy when meeting new people? Is anybody said if anybody's an introvert, just put in there yes or put introvert. These are all things that, thank you for admitting that, Sandy. Sandy's an introvert. These are all things that people go through when it comes to that keep them from networking. But I want everybody to understand that anytime that you stop networking, that means that you stop bringing in opportunity to your business. Anytime that you meet a new person, that person represents an opportunity. I want you guys to think about it like this. Every time you meet a new person, that person represents an opportunity. You never know what that opportunity is going to bring out. So with that, you want to make sure that every time that you are meeting, that you're putting yourself in a situation to meet more people. You want to meet more people. So anytime that if you're not liking networking or any of these things that's keeping you from doing it, that means you're cutting off the actual opportunities to your business, and you never want to do that. Regardless of whatever the hurdles are, you want to make sure that you do something to overcome those hurdles so that you can actually make sure that you are continuously being out there networking. A lot of people don't like networking. Does anybody feel like networking is salesy? Does anybody feel like, hey, I don't like going to networking events because I feel like it's a sales. I feel like people are always trying to sell me. Does anybody feel like that? Not when done right. Exactly. Sure can be. Listen, here's the definition of networking. It's any time when two or more people share information with each other, and they all have a common interest in that information. Anytime when two or more people that have a common interest with each other share information, that is the definition of networking. So what happens is, and did you guys hear the word sales anywhere in there? No. So anytime that you go to a networking event, and if you feel like somebody is selling, then that means that they're doing it wrong. Okay. They're doing it wrong. And I truly hate to hear this when people say, I don't go to networking events. Why? Because it's too salesy. And I'm like, wow, like you're literally cutting off your opportunity because somebody else is doing this activity wrong. You're cutting off opportunity to your business because of the bad apples in the bunch. No, never want to do that. Never want to do that. Again, you want to and the only time that you can do this, when you said doing it more efficiently, is within groups. With that, we got to go to these events. We have to go to these events. So again, and another thing, what happens is when you're at these events is a really good way. And I'm going to use Sandy for an example. Sandy, I would assume that every time when you go to a networking event, people see you, whether they talk to you or not, they see you. What then ends up happening is, let's say you go to the networking event and some of the same people are at that event. They still see you. Again, they might not talk to you, but they see you. You go to another networking event, some of the same people that are there. What happens is every time when a person sees you at an event, they know, oh, this person is in business. This person's doing the only reason why they're here. Anytime when they stop seeing you at an event, now the next question is, I wonder if they're still in business. There's a lot of people who I have come in contact with. So every now and then when I don't see them out, I'm like, oh, I wonder if that person is still in business. So what ends up happening is, and then my first referral was from someone never see, and that's beautiful. Like that's the power of networking. That is the power of networking right there. But it's one of those to where, again, you being able to get yourself out there shows that activity, shows that you are actually what's called open for business. I tell people that if you're not networking, then your sign is that you're closed. So with that, so let's get into effective networking. So there are 3 types of people that you can look for when you go to a networking event. And I call these the 3 C's. You can either be looking for a client, you can be looking for a collaborator, or you can be looking for a competitor. These are the 3 C's in networking. So in the chat, I want you guys to tell me, if out of the 3 C's, the client, the collaborator, and competitor, who is the first person that you're looking for when you go to a networking event? Who is the first person that you're looking for? A client, a collaborator, or a competitor? So I want to see in the chat what you guys think to this. Let's see here. Cheryl, collaborator. Tanya, collaborator. Okay. Who's the last person that you would want to meet? I see a lot of collaborators. Real good. Who's the last person that you would want to meet out of those 3? A client, a collaborator, a competitor. Who's the last person you'd want to meet? Sandy said client. Okay. Sandy must have seen my presentation before. Tanya must have seen my presentation before. Yes. A client is the last person who you'd want to meet. The reason why that is they're the hardest person to find at the event. A client is the hardest person to find. And also what happens is when you find a client, that's great, but we call those one-off transactions. They purchase with you one time. They may purchase with you again, but as far as referring, they may refer, but some do, most don't. The number one person who you do want to find is a collaborator. The number one person who you want to find is a collaborator. A collaborator is actually better than a client. A collaborator will refer your business over and over and over again. These are now not that one-off transaction. This is multiple transactions. So finding a collaborator is definitely better than finding a client. So why is finding a competitor better than a client? You guys said who the last person was, client. So then that leaves, why is a competitor better than a client? Let me tell you, a competitor is better than a client, okay? A client, what happens is, if you are on this call today and you have never received a call from your competitor calling you to give you money, there's a part of business that you are missing. I'm going to say that again. If you are on this call right now, you're listening to my voice, and you have never gotten a call from your competitor calling you to give you money, then there's a part of your business that you just haven't lived for yet. There's something you're missing. Let me tell you, to get that call from a competitor is amazing. And the only way that a competitor would call you for that is if they trust you. The only way for them to trust you is for you to build a relationship with them. I have in my, I own a tax business. In my tax business, I have gotten 3 phone calls from 3 separate competitors of mine saying the same thing. Hey, Corey, listen, we're no longer doing taxes, but we need to refer our book of business to somebody. Would you take our book of business? How many of you guys think I said yes? I said yes every time. Yes, all 3 times I said yes. And that was because I was on what's called a short list of people that they knowed and trusted and cared. And again, when I looked at them, I didn't look at them as my competitor. I didn't look at them as, oh, we're in the same thing, we can't do it. No, I always befriended my competitor. I always talked to them. Hey, always helped them. Hey, how can we share resources, whatever. So that when that happened, they would come to me. And again, if you have not had somebody call you to say, look, I'm going to give you our book of business. I'm going to start referring clients over to you. Again, there's a section of your business that you haven't experienced yet, which again can affect your bottom line. So again, when I go to networking events, rarely am I looking for a client. Rarely am I looking for a client. I am always looking for a collaborator, always looking for a competitor, always looking for another service provider that can actually help me with my business, whether it's get me a new website or a new tool for my business or whatever the case is. So many different things that's out there for that. So again, I wanted to make sure that you guys know. And then the last piece of this of how you got to make money is you have to follow up. You have to have that follow-up system. And newsflash, follow-up is not, hey, I called them. They didn't call me back. Hey, I sent them an email, but I didn't hear back from them. No, there's an actual what's called a follow-up system. We all know in business that it takes 7 to 14 plus touches for somebody to buy, to trust us to either buy or refer business to us. So the question is, how are you going to get these 7 to 14 plus touches? You have to do what's through what we call a slow drip campaign. And that process is taking that person that you just met, putting them into your CRM system, your customer relationship management system. You then need to make sure that you follow up. Hey, it was great meeting you. Hey, when can we connect? Blah, blah, blah. But then you add them to your newsletter. If you are listening to this and you are not sending out a newsletter or an email at least once a month reminding people what it is you do, you are losing money. I want to be very clear about this. If you are not sending out a newsletter or an email to your database at least once a month, reminding them of what you do, you are losing money. And that's where those 7 to 14 plus touches come from. That's how you make money from your networking efforts. You should make money from every networking effort that you have by utilizing these systems and these tools. So wanted to make sure you guys had that. I know we kind of went through this stuff quickly, but I did want to make sure that I left some room for some questions. If anybody has any questions, you can either put it in the chat, or Jonathan might be able to bring you up and you can ask it that way. My coach is big on teach emails. I think that is. Let's see here.
Yep. Power teaching power emails.
Yes. The power of emails is so powerful. Hey, Charmaine.
I have a question. I have a question. How did you determine that you are the pro networker? How did you determine that amongst all the other networking folks? Because right. I am so happy that we have business alliances, and I can't wait to get strongly going with that, because I'm going to be closing down the Angel Speed Networking. I'm going to be driving everyone to you, because in my mind, you are the pro networker, but I'm curious how you decided.
You know what's funny about that? People would call me pro networker or whatever the case was, but it wasn't until someone in my database on my birthday put in their happy birthday to the network king. And when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, oop, yep, got him using that. And that's why actually, you got that title. But and let me tell you what else is funny about that. There's another guy who's here in Atlanta who he also goes by the Network King.
Oh.
But the difference is, and him and I know each other. We see each other every so often. There's no animosity there. And if you ask me, I truly believe that he knows that, wait a minute, when it comes to networking, yes, Corey is the king because I do networking events. I have a networking database and all this. Like, he doesn't do events. He doesn't really go to networking. It's like he's social. He's probably the network more social person. But as far as network king, no, that is me. Like I said, I not only go to networking events, I produce networking events. I drink the Kool-Aid when it comes to networking, and I am passionate about people growing their business through networking. We firmly believe that it takes a village to grow your business, and I couldn't imagine not having a person like Jonathan that I network with, having a person like Charmaine networking with. Like, I couldn't imagine not having the relationships that I've built with networking and still trying to do business. Like, and I know there's people who do it. Hey, listen, I say it like this. I'm in Atlanta. I could go from Atlanta to Chicago. I could either go by driving or I could go by walking. Both will get you there, but there's a different experience with one than the other.
That's right.
Being able to network is being able to have these resources and use networking the way that it's supposed to be, is exchanging of information, exchanging of resources to make it easier while you're doing this.
Yeah.
It has been the difference between night and day in business.
Well, I just want to say kudos to you, because that's why I made a decision, because I'm very particular who I associate with, who I brand, because my brand is very important to me. Positivity, caring, heart, giving, and you exudes that, and my spirit with you. So I just want everyone listening to me to, did you give them your contact information already, or the website?
Well, let me go ahead and put that in.
Yeah. I just want you to know he's got some of the most amazing networking virtual events, and that is why I am going to be shutting down my speed networking and letting all my folks and everyone drive them over to him, because he truly is my king of networking. And yes, we're both in the networking business, but it's okay to recognize other people for their talents and their gifts. There's enough to go around. So accolades to you, Corey. And I'm going to get on the 2:30 stage, get ready for our keynote speaker. Hope you make it back there. Okay.
Definitely. Please make sure you guys connect with me. I just put my information in the chat there. Please definitely make sure that you connect with me. I think I see Miss Cheryl there. Yep, I'm accepting you. Oh, I already see Sandy accepting you as well. Wonderful. So we are now connected with each other. Really appreciate that. And then you'll see some of the events that we actually do virtually. We have several different events that we do virtually. So with that, but any way that we can do to help you with your business, definitely make sure that you plug in. For Sandy, and actually it looks like most of the people in the crowd right now might be women. We have an event, and actually I'm going to put this in the chat as well. We have a women's event that we do twice a month, the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. It is free. It is virtual. It is large. We typically average about anywhere between 50 to 100 women on this every time we do it. It's exclusively for women. One of the young ladies, Kate and Jacobs, that's in my team, she runs it. I'm not even on it. But you can definitely go to womenwhonetwork.com and get information about that event. We just had one this past Wednesday. So the next one is going to be the fourth Wednesday, which I believe is the 28th of this month, 27th or 28th, one of those. So, but please make sure if you have any questions regarding networking, reach out to me. Make sure that you have your networking goals for not only the year, but even for the month or even the week. Some people have networking goals for the day. But again, Sandy, you said my coach is big on teaching the power of emails. Let me tell you, real quick, I had a lady call me or send me an email one day and said, hey, do you still do taxes? And I said, yes. So we got on the phone and she said, I have been getting your emails for 5 years. I've been on your list. And with that, I'm now ready to get my taxes done. With that, I have 5 years of taxes to do, and I'm a business owner. This one person paid for my systems for that whole 5 years. So I say that the only way that that person called me was because I was sending emails consistently to them. Again, that slow drip campaign. And I have several examples of that. But again, got to make sure that people are remember who it is, what you do. All right. So, yeah. So with that, again, thank you guys for being a part of this. I truly appreciate you. I hope that you're enjoying the actual sessions that are happening today. I hope something today has helped your business. And we will definitely see you guys soon. All right.